Hello and welcome to another episode of Games to Sleep 2, and we are doing another run on Mac here today. I think the consensus on Mac is that he's pretty strong, a pretty impressive character. There is certainly a fail rate with the character, and your build can maybe not come together, but you just have such powerful options that it's pretty scary to see a Mac every time you face them in the Bazaar. But for this video here, we're going to be looking at our three different options to start here. I would like to potentially go with the gold tier skill. I think getting an enchantment is pretty good early, but there's also a lot of Mac items that are small and not very powerful, not ones that you want to use for a large portion of the game. It's very synergy based, the character, so less inclined to get an enchanted item and then getting income and gold. That's all well and good. Why don't we take a gold tier skill here and look for a direction? Okay, your leftmost weapon gains 40, your burn items gain +3 burn, and your rightmost item has +24 crit chance. I do like the burn, probably the best out of all of them. That being said, I think what could be potentially most powerful is this left-handed skill, just because Mac can get a lifesteal weapon very early on in the game. So let's go ahead and take left-handed, and let's try and see if we can do that. One tricky thing about Mac that we've also seen is that he has 200 starting max HP, so getting max HP is very, very important here. And traditionally I would want to go to non-weapon items, or even getting a haste item could be good, but just to win and survive the first fights of the day, the literal level 1 fights, you potentially need to get some sort of item on board, or need to get some sort of max HP upgrade. All that said, the 5 regen is really what we need here, just to ensure that we're not going to die to any of these monsters here. All that said, let's go to the Kyver drone. If we could get a weapon here, maybe a stinger or a Langshan, all those would work with left-handed. Not really what we want, but I like having the backup ability to utilize one of these two. Other things that we've seen with Mac is that there are builds around potions that may just be stronger than anything you can do for like the first 8 or so days of the game. Having the ability to reload your potions and potentially getting a potion that heals for the entirety of your life, and then putting like obsidian on that or something of the nature, that is very real, and it's a semi-consistent strategy. We'll see where we end up. I don't know that I want to do that, but as a demonstration, I think it'd be nice to see for you all. Okay, we get an insect wing. Not bad, not great. And then I will show you here, we will go to the jungle ruins. There is a third option where Mac can get a silver tier reagent, and this could be literally any of the reagents from the reagent pool. That being said, what I really want to get is the 3 regeneration here. I think, again, we have such low amount of starting max HP that having this could potentially make up a lot of that ground into the first couple fights in each day. And we only have this insect wing, so going to the tiny furry monster doesn't sound good. We have this skill for left-handed. Let's look at some weapons. Okay, here's kind of what I was talking about. You can get an item like leeches, which inherently has lifesteal. You can also get an item like refractor and put that on board. I'm going to also see if there's something more powerful here. I do like the refractor, but we don't have anything to really synergize with it just yet. So I would also just kind of like to see what other options are available to us. And this is really what I was looking for, the Shard of Obsidian. It says 4-second cooldown, deal 5 damage, and when it's transformed, enchant it with Obsidian if able. So Mac has this skill, or this ability, which we'll see, to use reagents and transform them into different items. But for now, let's just maximize on some weapons here. Do you want to take the spider mace or bottled lightning? I like the bottled lightning. It's going to guarantee crit, so this is effectively one-time damage source of 40 damage and 4 burned. That's not a bad deal. It doesn't proc our leeches, but that's okay. And let's fight this Vanessa. Now the reason I am also putting the left-handed buff on the Shard of Obsidian is because it's going off much quicker. The leeches does scale. We don't have anything to scale it though, so having this go off much more quickly is going to be much better for us than having the damage on the leeches. And what's the skill that this Vanessa has? First time you overheal each fight, haste your items for 2 seconds. That's pretty strong. That being said, having a 45 damage, 4-second cooldown lifesteal item is very good on day 1. Okay, so we've got through the first day here. And here is what I was talking about with Mandala. You can transform your items into something new. So I could transform this Shard of Obsidian into a new item. My thinking is that this Shard of Obsidian, I just want it right now for to synergize with my left-handed skill. So I don't really want to change this into a new item just yet. I think we could even transform our leeches into something else, but truthfully, I think our board is doing okay, and adding a little bit more to it would be pretty nice. So let's go to Herma here. Okay, we get a Philosopher's Stone, Venomander, and Sword Cane. Sword Cane is okay. Not terribly powerful, but I think on first look is a little more powerful than it appears to be, but having only 10 damage is kind of where this item loses a lot of its shine. Burning is good, Poison 2 is good, gaining regen is good, and if you can stack all that up on a 5-second cooldown item, that's great, but it's not terribly powerful. That being said, it does work well with the Venomander, and I do have a Bottled Lightning, so I could proc all of these things, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. Philosopher's Stone here is the other one. Gain 1 regen for the fight when you transform reagent. This permanently gains 2 regen, and you can get a chunk of lead when you purchase this. A chunk of lead we can transform into gold, so I kind of want to take all these things. I'm not really a big fan of leeches, so I have $3 to work with. This all costs 8, so that's perfect. Sell the leeches. I am willing to sell the insect wing on the Shard of Obsidian. It's a little wasteful, but I think that's okay. And let's purchase all of these. Okay. So we level up. Let's look at a bronze tier skill here. And this is one that's pretty interesting. Dumpster diving. It says at the start of each day, get a random potion. That's not bad at all. If we're going into the potions build, it's not mandatory, but it is very strong regardless. So I do like having the dumpster diving. This is maybe my 6th or 7th run on Mac as well, so I'm no expert by any means, but I am starting to kind of see how the items interplay. Because we have weapons here, I am inclined to take the 5 crit chance, but dumpster diving is also effectively 1 gold at the start of every day, so it's kind of like having an extra income if we just sell off the potions. That's interesting. I will just take the crit chance on our items. Introducing 1 crit chance on our board could be all the difference as we continue our run. And then now let's make sure that our Sword Cane is doing the most it can. It checks adjacent items, and we have a regen, poison, and burn item next to it. Okay, so we don't have any money here, so going to Kina doesn't make sense. This chunk of lead only sells for money once we transform it, so nothing there. Jungle Ruins can provide some free items for us, but additionally it can provide 3 regeneration. It might seem crazy to keep getting all this regeneration, but Mac has some items that synergize and do damage based off the amount of regeneration that you have. With that, looking at our fights here, let's go for the Rogue Scrapper, seeing if we can keep maximizing. They don't really have much that we want, but one very important thing to know about Mac is that he has, I think, 0 shield items, and additionally has very few healing items. So getting shield items or shield upgrades like scrap when you're Mac is gonna do pretty much nothing for you. It's an unfortunate part of playing the character, and thus regeneration is kind of the name of the game when it comes to playing Mac to actually gain some healing in a fight, or again, having a lifesteal weapon. With all this, we are fighting the Rogue Scrapper. We got through that fight pretty easily. 37 regeneration, obviously pretty good. Let's see what they have for us. Alright, at the start of each fight, slow one item for 3 seconds. It's not nothing. And what do we have here? We could go to quick slow. I don't have a lot of money. I think I'm just going to try and recoup a little bit of the money that we lost just by buying items. So let's go to the strange mushroom. There's also the ability to get a small silver tier potion from the strange mushroom, but I am going to take 4 gold here. I don't have a lot of income, so I want to be able to purchase something if we have the opportunity. Okay, so we see B1, B2. Seeing B1, B2 is interesting. I think I want to do that. We're not going to level up here, so I don't need to buy any more items. And I want to check to see if Bazaar.gg has the new items. Let's see, sword cane. Sword cane. They do. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so sword cane get pretty good buffs across the board. How about this shard of obsidian? Okay, they don't have shard of obsidian. So they don't have all the new items. I guess sword cane was in the game beforehand. Okay. And Venomander is not going to be too impressive. Philosopher's Stone could be interesting. I am just going to upgrade the sword cane. Adding 2 more poison, 2 more regen, 2 more burn. I think that is strong enough. Okay, now let us fight this Vanessa. Alright, what do they have? They have double barrel, ramrod, grenade. Woof, okay, so they have a pretty good amount of damage and they have 20 crit, or 50 crit even on this grenade. So that's super scary. We crossed the threshold? Doesn't look like it. Okay, yeah, these crits are a little too much for us to deal with, but that is the experience playing Mac. You have very little max HP, so sometimes you just get completely bursted down. Okay, so we have our level up here for level 2. Could get bronze tier loot, bronze tier reagent. I have 1 reagent that I'm willing to transform, so I don't need this bronze tier reagent. I am going to just take the loot and the 2 gold and get a gland. Okay, that's kind of what we're trying to do. Let's go to day 3 here. I see chocolates. I think chocolates is very important for us. And what's our board looking like? We do need to fill a slot. All that said, I am going to go to chocolates. I'm going to go ahead and just get 150 max HP and work with that. Now, we do have this chunk of lead, and we do have a gland. So we have 2 slots on our board that we need to fill. We don't have a ton of money to do it. That being said, if we go to Mandala and transform this chunk of lead, that would be a nice little bump in gold. Yeah. We go to see Ayla here. We would only have 6 gold really to work with. And we would hope that they would have bronze weapons for us. Let's also buffs our Philosopher's Stone here, so let's go ahead and transform this chunk of lead. And it gives us moth meal. Okay. And here's our chunk of gold. Cool. So we only have 1 spot on the board we need to fill, but not super important to do into these next fights. Notably, Scout Trooper did get buffed, so it is a much scarier fight than it was before. That being said, I think I'm still going to go for it. It might be a mistake. I'll be frank, we're not in like the strongest of position. We're really trying to get as much, I think, regen, if anything, to carry us through the fights. But I will fight the Scout Trooper. And we can see here that Uzi predominantly is doing more damage here. It's up now from 10 to It was at 2 and now it does 10. And I believe weak point detector got buffed as well, if I'm remembering that correctly. So they're certainly able to do a lot more damage. All that said, 27 regeneration, 32 regeneration, 35 regeneration even. Yeah, I think we'll be okay this fight. They don't burst us any more than they already have. And frankly, the gunpowder is very worthwhile pick up here if we do get that. I don't really want too much from their board, so let's see what we get. And we get grappling hook. Okay. Grappling hook is slow, and slow can be important for Mac. And we are going to need to fill our board out, so we want to go look at some items. Let's see what JJ has. Okay, there's Nightshade. When you heal or gain regen, this gains +2 poison. And we have 3 items that are stacking regen. Sure, let's take it. I'm also looking at Emerald. I think Emerald is pretty good, +3 poison on your items. It's probably stronger than Grappling Hook or even this Moth Meal. Let's take that. And Myrrh. Myrrh is okay. Myrrh is going to be proccing our Nightshade. It's not nothing. Well, we'll take the Myrrh. I think it's better than the Moth Meal. And then I'll re-roll here. So Fireflies is okay. Dragon's Breath, when you use an adjacent item or dragon item, this gains +6 burn for the fight. Problem is it has 1 ammo and a 12-second cooldown. So it's very powerful, but we don't have any way to reload that or facilitate that right now. Okay, I think I'm willing to get out of here. And now, notably the Lost Crate doesn't have an upgrade hammer anymore, but we could still get a skill. I don't have any money, so I think I'm willing to do that. Could get a medium item as well, but Mac really cares about like certain items for synergy purposes, so I'll get the skill. Okay, your poison items have +2 poison for each weapon you have. That's huge. We have a lot of weapons here. And we can start filling out our board with our upgraded items. I take this grappling hook off board. That is 2 less poison on all my things. Yeah, regeneration's only scaling our Nightshade, but I think I'm willing to keep it like this. I guess we also had some more gold. I forgot about the chunk of gold. Okay, so what does an emerald upgrade look like? Emerald. It would be another point of poison. So on our board, that would be another 4 poison. Okay, that's pretty good. Could go to Pip here as well, but I think it makes sense to just keep trying to stack the power of our board. And honestly, I think this Nightshade upgrade's not looking bad. Let's do that. Okay, also, I have a little bit of rainy sounds for us here. I've got rainymood.com, one of the best rainy sounds I've ever found in the world. I must say, the #1 rain sound, that's the truth. So let me know if you like that. I like it personally. So if anything, it's for me. Okay, we're fighting Mac here. Mac is super strong, just straight up. So seeing a Mac is pretty scary. We'll see what they're doing here. And they have Athanor. Yikes. This Athanor is a little overtuned, I want to say. But it is kind of facilitates basically like a 1-item win the game sort of thing here. Also, am I playing music? What the heck is going on here? Is that in-game? I don't even know. Okay, well, anyway, that was strange. We do win, correct? I was so distracted that I didn't even see if we won, but I'm pretty sure that we did. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Let's go into day 4. All right, seeing silver tier chocolates here seems very reasonable. Weapons, we have 10 gold to work with. I'm just going to take the silver tier chocolates. And now we have an opportunity to transform our Myrrh into a regeneration item. I can't imagine it's going to be great, I'm not going to lie, just because it's bronze. Mostly I've seen these turn just into other reagents. But let's do it. Oh wow, we got restorative smelling salts. That's actually not bad at all. Okay. So it's not regeneration, but it is heal. So that's pretty good. And it says when you slow, you heal. Okay, so now we can kind of pivot into a slow synergy if we would like. I will sell these chocolates too, missing maybe a little bit of value in the future. But this also facilitates us hasting an item. Yeah, this makes sense to me. Okay, so we could fight the Blood Reef Raider, but let's fight a Hexa. I think just maximizing again on experience is going to facilitate getting as much HP as possible, so I'm happy to fight the most powerful monster. In terms of things we want from their board, Iris is not terrible, but destroying our own items is not really what I want to be doing. So we'll see what we get. If anything, maybe crypto just to get more money is the best. What do they got? Crypto. Okay. More money. And it's worth 2. Now can go to the docks, get us cinders. Thinking about this bottled lightning, and I would like an upgrade. We don't have any medium items to sell to Midsworth, so there is maybe some argument just going to the docks and getting some more money, but I'll go to Midsworth. Okay, ruby or other burn items have +3, a good analog to the emerald, which we have over here. I realize we don't even have that on the board. Well, okay. Should have definitely done this, I think. Well, here we are. Anyway, Infinity Potion. It would proc our Nightshade. I would like maybe to have a higher tier upgrade of this is the only thing. Gaining 1 regen every 4 seconds is maybe better, or is just not very good, but maybe it makes sense if what this looks like is gain 1 regeneration and poison your opponent for 4 every 4 seconds. But that's not how it reads truly, because of that. Yeah, I don't love that. Okay. So, do we want to reroll here? I don't think so. I think we're a little light on gold, so we can just see what we see and then get on out of there. Okay, some interesting skills here. We have a burn skill. We don't have anything to really proc the sword cane. I kind of like taking the slows matter skills. We're not really slowing a ton, but it is certainly a defensible skill to have and then upgrade as we continue. We also have rust, which is slowing, so we're introducing a little bit of crit to our board. And then we see another eating contest. I am going to the eating contest, and I am going to go ahead and click the pay 10 button for it. Not really what I want to do, but it's what we're going to do. And I think our items are as we want them. Thinking about the restorative smelling salts, I think we want to be hasting our Nightshade. That makes the most sense. Okay, let's fight. Let's see what this Vanessa has. Looks like a lifesteal weapon. Okay, heavy grenade. And they are a 1-weapon build, but also a weather glass build. So they're kind of in between phases here. We're gonna need to pile on the regen. We're poisoning them for a tremendous amount though. 113 poison is pretty big. And yeah, we got there. Turns out we didn't really need all those max HP upgrades for this fight, but I'm glad we have them. Let me not be as stressed as we fought. And here we go into day 5. Okay, so Valpak. I do have some items I could sell, some bronze tier items. That being said, the mountain pass is probably the highest upside, so I will go there. Would we like income or max HP, or just max experience rather? The income could be very important to us. We're pretty early on. We're doing pretty good on XP. And we're going to level up today regardless if we win this fight. But this could get us ahead on some other days. Yeah, let's risk it. Okay, we didn't get either. We got an item and an emerald upgrade. All right, honestly, that's not bad. Okay, B1, B2. Would we like to upgrade maybe the restorative smelling salts? That would haste our nightshade for 2. That could be pretty big game. We also have a lot of money to work with, but our build is not bad. So I'm feeling like we're decently strong. That being said, we will need to find some ways to certainly upgrade our board. Thinking we have one reagent, we have another in our bag. Yeah, hard to pass up this bronze tier item upgrade. So I will upgrade the smelling salts. We'll see here now, it's going to slow one item for 2 seconds, and it's going to haste their nightshade for 2 seconds. And let's fight the Gorgonoble. Gorgonoble, both biggest monster and has plenty of good things for us. Something like a Basilisk Fang, the Black Rose, really most anything from the Gorgonoble is going to be good for us. Yeah, doing a very large amount of poisoning. I'm even thinking now that our Shard of Obsidian may be going soon, but it does also give us more damage. We'll see. Let's see what we get. Okay, Nightshade upgrade. Alright, looks like we're maxing our Nightshade. And what do we have here? It's loot, silver tier reagent. We have 2 reagents to work with, so I'm not super impressed by that. I think I'll just take the guaranteed 4 gold. And we get some regeneration, and I'm gonna definitely click the more regeneration button as well. So let's do that too. And more chocolates. It might seem crazy, but I am just going to keep maximizing our HP here. And we're fighting a max, so definitely want to be as healthy as we can be. And let's fight. Our board is not insanely good, but it is, I think for day 5, pretty strong. That being said, Max can do a ton. They do have a vat of acid here. And I'm also realizing that this board, I guess, just has music associated to it. So that's something to know. So they're putting a lot of fire damage on us, but we have put a lot of poison on them. This vat of acid gets scary very, very quickly. But notably, I do want to point out something here. We can look at it in the replay, actually. So this potion of potion turned into 2 slow potions. Those slow potions are always going to target the slowest item. So regardless of if that item is super slowed. So it's all of these sleeping potions are going on our restorative smelling salts, and thus got a little bit lucky there. But just something to know if you were thinking about stacking those up and thinking that, oh, maybe if it slows 1 potion, or if the potion, I have 2 of them, it'll slow an item and make, then another item will now be somehow targeted. That's just not the case. It's all going to go on the same one. Okay, so we could go to Ellie and see some potions. There are certainly some powerful potions that could be good for us. I'm willing to see what Ellie has. Okay, so there's a gold tier bottle explosion. Says deal 10 damage, double this item's damage for the fight. We would need to find a way to reload this or facilitate it going off multiple times with like adding ammunition to it. That being said, on its own, it's not that powerful. Bottle tornado, so we could start the sandstorm. It does slow an item for 1 second, and slowing is good for our smelling salts, but I don't love any of these things. I am willing to reroll because there are some powerful things we could get. Okay, we could get an upgrade to our bottled lightning. I don't think we need to do that. And strength potion. This can be very good, certainly, but again, I think it just makes sense to look for other things and spend our gold elsewhere. We're not really synergizing with potions currently. Okay, and we don't have anything to sell for Midsworth, but I am willing to look at what items they have. I don't think there's anything that we have that has like a secret docks clause on it, but let's see what Midsworth has. Okay, there is a Basilisk Fang. When your enemy has poison, this is plus 50 crit chance. I think that's going to be more powerful than our Shard of Obsidian, so you can put that on board. There is a Sapphire, which I think the freeze build on Mac can be good, but you really need to have like all the cards fall into your lap appropriately. I also see this regeneration potion gain 8 regen. That's pretty strong. Is it stronger than anything else we're doing? The grappling hook is facilitating haste and healing for a Nightshade, so this might look like a strange addition, but it is certainly serving a purpose. It has a lot of different synergies with it. And here, I don't need to reroll. I could preserve my gold. I would have 6 gold to work with, maybe 9 if I'm willing to sell things off, but 4 gold is a lot to lose, so at least at this stage of the game. Okay, and do we beat the Infernal? That's a great question. I think we do. Not 100% sure, I'll be frank with you, but I do want to try it. If we lose, that is what it is, but we do start with a good amount of regeneration here. We've already put 70 burn on them. And we're about to put the 150 putting poison on them, sorry, not burn. Yeah, they have a ton burn on them. Okay. I don't want to say we beat that handily, but we were not really in trouble there. Let's see what they have for us. When you burn, your items gain +1 crit chance. Do we even want to take this? Let's take it. There's an argument to not take it when you go, because you could go to like the Grandmaster, and the Grandmaster says that it's going to serve you 2 different skills to upgrade, and you're going to want to have the skill that you want to upgrade essentially be most present. So if we're not using Tracer Fire, we don't want to be having the opportunity to upgrade it essentially. That is something to keep in mind, but I think it's okay for these purposes. Now I'm looking here, and I think we could upgrade Smelling Salt so we can get a silver tier skill. Hasting this for 3 seconds would be pretty good. And we wouldn't be slowing. We would only slow like 3 times. I guess, so we slow every 7 seconds twice. And that would put 6 haste on this. So that's close to being constantly hasted. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Also, if we get something like Magnus's Femur, I think that would make sense to have. Okay. We can go to Volpack here and maybe get something interesting. There's a Shard of Obsidian. The Apothecary. Gain 3 regen for the fight when you slow, haste, poison, or burn. Charges 1. Instead of each day, get a reagent. Kind of cool. I don't know that we need it. So let's roll past this. And there is the Femur. You know, I did this in my last video, so there's a part of me that doesn't want to take it just so we can explore something new, but we'll see. I'm probably just gonna do it. I will sell those off. I'm gonna take the Femur, and I am going to pick up this Philosopher's Stone upgrade. We don't have a reagent anymore. Well, I guess we have the Nightshade, but we don't want to mess with that. Okay. Oh, wow. You know, I'm actually realizing that this Goop Flail is super strong. Because we have this left-handed synergy. So every 12 seconds, this would be poisoning for 120. Or 123 at that. The problem is it's a 12-second cooldown. I guess we do have the Smelling Salts. But So we have, if we take, let's say maybe the nightshade off the board, and let's pretend this femur is this goop flail. So what would we be doing? Maybe something like this, where we are hasting this. We could even keep the nightshade on board and do something like that. And then the nightshade's not going off as much, it's still gaining a lot. I think I'm willing to purchase this goop flail. I know I just purchased this femur, but I would really like to show you all some build diversity here. And yeah, let's sell these. You only need to sell one more thing. I really wish this chunk of lead was worth something to sell, just so I could have the femur as a backup plan. So if I was going to sell one thing, maybe it's just the venom ender. Yeah, it's replaceable. And we would want the slow just so we could facilitate our other synergies. Okay. All right. So now I would like to get a small tier item here. You know, I could go and convert this chunk of lead into something, but let's just get the small weapon. And we'll get another shard of obsidian. Okay. And very cool, our goop flail will now be poisoning for 150 when it goes off. And rust, so yeah, okay. Is anything out of position? Doesn't look like it. Let's fight. Again, I think the femur is going to be more powerful, but I don't know that for sure. I want to try the goop flail. 12-second cooldown, to be frank, is not what I want to be doing, but you know, it is what it is. Let's see, so they're going to be doing a lot of poison to us, but we just put 150 poison on them. They are not healing, and we are. And yeah, their primary source of defense was shielding, so Vanessa bites the dust. Notably, they had only like 50 more poison on them compared to what we were doing. But it is what it is. Certainly want to be replacing this shard of obsidian, I think. If we can get another slow item, that'd be great. And this could be a slow item here at Tox Clocks. Wow, Turbo Ruby. Oh, well, I guess it's not that good. Just says on a 10-second cooldown, you haste one item for 3 seconds is the turbo modifier. Not that strong. Okay, these are not really the small items I'm looking for, nor the droids. Let's keep going. And potion distillery. Potion distillery is very interesting. So the thing about potion distillery is it transforms items. And Philosopher's Stone cares about seeing things transformed. So you have the ability to really stack up a lot on this Philosopher's Stone. That being said, we are pretty far away from buying it. I wish we could. So we could sell the femur, we'd have 8 gold, then we could sell the shard of obsidian of 10 gold. But then we wouldn't really want to be getting rid of anything else. This isn't a potion for any reason. Nope. Okay. It would be a great econ play, I think, but I don't want to get rid of the grappling hook just because it is hasting our goop flail. Emerald is also pretty good with Nightshade. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe our Nightshade's time is coming to an end here. I guess really it's like I want to be stacking this regeneration just for the Philosopher's Stone, because that's a source of healing for us, but it's not like our build really wants that. Our build wants to be doing slow things. So I am willing to go past this and say that we are probably maybe even looking for an upgrade or to our Philosopher's Stone on the board, something to replace it. So we could go to Curio. We have a little bit of money to work with. I think I'd prefer to gain some more value, so let's go to the docks. And there are some tools that could slow, I believe, but we get the hourglass. Okay, so reduces this by 8 seconds, or 8% rather, which is just 1 second on the goop flail, so not good. Okay. Now, can we beat Radiant Corsair? You know, we could also fight the Viper Tyrant. Let's see what the Viper Tyrant is. What day is it? 7. So they have some poison things. When you poison, gain 4 regen for the fight. That'd be a pretty big get. That being said, we're not that likely to get it, just because there's so many different options the Viper Tyrant has. Radiant Corsair, we would have to really work through. I think we'd be putting enough poison on them to defeat them, but I'm not exactly confident that that is the case. Yeah, that's tough. I think the skill would be super good. Yeah, let's fight the Radiant Corsair. We could certainly die from the Radiant Corsair. I kind of want to gauge to see how strong I am currently anyway, which is maybe not a good excuse to fight them, but I think that it's not the most unwise. We're not too far behind on our experience if we do fail this fight. But as it stands, before we got hit by the anchor, we were doing okay. And yeah, they have 464 poison on them. My oh my. That is a lot of poison. Jeez. Okay, the goop flail's looking pretty good. Really, it's this left-handed skill that's enabling the goop flail. And what do we get? Fiery katana. Alright. Certainly not what I wanted, but that's okay. And here's some slow skills. Let's look at slow skills. If we could propagate more slow, that'd be very good for us. Okay, net launcher. Slowed targets. Net launcher does slow 2 items for 3 seconds. It's pretty good. We have 6 gold to reroll as well. I would love something that says slow when we do X. Even if it's like the first 5 times you do that slow. But I will take the net launcher. Okay, and here we could aerodrome. We could sell our femur. And hey y'all, I am going to go to Quixel. And I am going to sell the femur. It hurts, but I really do want to diversify here and see if we can enable this goop flail to be as impactful as it could be. So, let's look what we have. Satchel, reloads items. We do again want to upgrade to our shard of obsidian. I'm not really seeing these as doing so. So let's roll. Okay, Quicksilver is pretty interesting. It transforms into another small item you have for the fight. That could be pretty good. If it created even another Philosopher's Stone at worst, but if it creates another Restorative Smelling Salt or Grappling Hook, that's very good. Yeah, I'll take that, and I'll even put it on the board. Oh, that's not it. There we go. Okay. Thanks, Quixel. And we could look for an upgrade to the Goop Flail. Could also just gain shields. I'm looking to see what weapons there are. Letter opener, runic daggers when you crit. We're not really critting. Floor spike's okay. Let's roll. Femur, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did it. I know you're back, but I can't do it, my friend. I can't do it. Maybe another time, I swear. I'll call you later. Do one of these other items. I'm just so distracted by this femur now. So large, so in charge. Double bow. I don't think the double bow makes sense for us. It's not really helping us outside of maybe contributing to toxic weapons. Yeah, I mean, the femur is the best, but let's keep rolling. Alright, Reckless Haze. Let us fight you. Let's see what this Mac has. Looks like poison based off their skills. They have Poppy Field, Aladel, and Secret Formula. Okay, so I think this might be crazy what they're doing. They are going to be poisoning a lot. So the Poppy Field's when you use a weapon, poison 10, and your weapons have plus damage equal to 50% of your poison. Now the Viper Cane gives poison buffs to other items based off the amount of damage it has. So there is something that was cooking up here that our opponent had. Actually, let's recap their board. So they have the Secret Formula, which is the item to the left of this gains plus burn equal to your regen, and the poison item to the right of this gains plus poison equal to your regen. And then they had Viper Cane, which is boosting their poison and regeneration. They had Aladel to facilitate the actual poison going off. And then they had Poppy Field, which says when you use a weapon, poison 10, and your weapons have plus damage equal to your poison. So they were scaling their Viper Cane, which is pretty cool, to then scale their Aladel, to then also work with their Secret Formula. Very cool build, but we gooped them. We just gooped them. Okay. I'm going to take the silver tier loot here, cooldown reduction, name of the game, crit chance, also good name for our game. And I will sell that. Let's just sell that now so I don't forget. Okay, we could look at some small items here, could maybe find some more slowing items. And I'm thinking about getting to level 10, so we have to gain 8 more experience. We know we're going to guaranteed gain 5, so we'd have to be able to defeat the day 8 monster here. Let's look at the list of day 8 monsters. I think we can defeat all of them. A dragon may be tough, but outside of that, I think we're good here. So we don't need to take the 2 experience from the Bazaar Con. We can look for some items from Andy, though. Okay, there's Sleeping Potion. Sleeping Potion's okay. Maybe our Philosopher's Stone, their time is coming to an end. I will take the Sleeping Potion. I'm going to reroll. Well, Obsidian Dagger, the potion on the left, this has plus 4 ammo. And a Runic Potion? Ooh, okay. So, we can start making some moves here. We can buy this dagger. As I was saying, we can buy this dagger. We can even buy this Runic Potion. We can gain more ammo on this Sleeping Potion, so that's going to really knock out one of their items. And then this Runic Potion says haste your lifesteal weapons for 1 second, and a weapon gains lifesteal. So we can give our Goop Flail lifesteal, and that's not going to be incredible, I'm not going to lie to you, just because it's like 150 HP, but it's also going to haste it, which I do really like. And that being said, does Quicksilver transforming into these things make sense? You know, we could do something like this. And then if the Quicksilver becomes the dagger, then the Runic Potion will get more things. If it becomes a Sleeping Potion, that's okay. And if it becomes Restorative Smelling Salts, it's pretty good. So, I'm willing to do that. That being said, Grappling Hook is just guaranteed slow. I guess worst case scenario, it becomes a Runic Potion. But hasting this is very big. But we're already kind of doing that. Okay. I'll think about that some more. But we don't have to make the decision now. And here's B1, B2. Do we have any bronze? Nope. Don't need to look at that. Quicksil. Quicksil, the upgrades that I kind of want for our board are for our Goop Flail and more slow things. I mean, I think this Nightshade has kind of run its course, unfortunately. So we're really in on the Goop Flail. Yeah, we do have money to spend. And okay, well, this Soul Ring, can be very big. It says you have 10 regeneration and poison equal to your regeneration. I do like that a lot. Then retort. When you transform a reagent, this permanently gains +6 poison. Okay. I think I would like to take the soul ring. So I can sell the shard. Comfortable selling this hourglass as well. I can take the soul ring. And then the soul ring is probably just better. Yeah, it gives us +10 regen, and it's going to apply a good amount of poison. It makes me want to put the Philosopher's Stone back on the board as well. Yeah, I think that might actually just be better than this runic potion. 150 lifesteal is good, but this will potentially heal more over time because and also do more damage. It does more damage with Nightshade. Yeah, it's a little awkward. We're kind of in between two builds right now, but I don't think that we're in a bad spot. And okay, Dr. Vortex, as we talked about, we're going to fight the biggest monster and gain our experience rewards so we can level up. Neophiliac would be a pretty decent one to get. We'll see here that the soul ring does a pretty large amount of poisoning. They have 583 poison on them. Big game, big game. And also just the 10 regen is not bad either. Okay, what do we get? We get a cog. Okay. Now we don't need the XP. Chocolates sounds good. I do like chocolates. I'm even willing to go completely in on some chocolates. I think we're maybe past the point of emerald here. So let's go chocolates, and let's get 10 chocolates, or 5 chocolates. And a mysterious portal, sure, why not? Burn items, we got no money, but let's check them out. Oh man. Fiery Potion Distillery. It'll transform your potions into fiery potions, that's very good. Fire Claw also good. Frozen Flame can be good. But, you know, we don't got no money for that, so let's keep going. Haste. Okay. So, what could we give haste? Sleeping Potion? What does Sleeping Potion do? I think that is an item. It's only hasting one item for 3 seconds. I don't think that is the upgrade. I don't think Goop Flail's in here. Oh, it is. Okay, never mind. Haste one item for 4 seconds. Oh. So it's going to do that 3 times every time it goes off? I mean, there's probably just better things we could be doing with the Goop Flail. I mean, getting fiery, getting double poison, slow, freeze, shield, restorative is okay. Crit chance is good. Radiant is good. Yeah, okay. I think there's just so many other enchantments that could be good on this. We got restorative. Alright, so it's kind of like what we had with the runic potion. If we have a way to put even more damage on this, that'd be great. And you know what? This is going to proc our Nightshade. This is when you heal or gain regen. This gains +6 poison, so not a bad synergy. And here, well, let's fight this Vanessa. Okay, looks like Lumbor's interesting on a Vanessa. Okay, and they have Cannonade. Then they have Obsidian Katana. Okay. Well, the Sleeping Potion hitting the Cannonade isn't going to do too much. But we are poisoning for a lot here. And Nightshade's doing over 100 poison. Or Goop Flail is obviously gooping. So we're in a good place. A nice little victory there. I don't know that I'm ever going to get used to the music on this battle board. This, whatever, this mat, this board. And now I understand there is a patch note that said that you will transport to the opponent's board when you are fighting them. So now I get that. Okay. Well, do we have things to sell? We do have things to sell, so we could go to the shrouded figure and gain some experience. I don't hate that. Our build, as we saw, is not in a bad spot. I would have to sell the runic potion, which, I mean, having the restorative goop flail do 150 healing could be pretty good. Now, I wonder if that counts as separate instances for the nightshade, because they've changed lifesteal now to say that that counts as a source of healing. So if restorative and lifesteal are two separate properties, which I think is the case, this would proc our nightshade 3 more times. Huh. I think that works like that, so that's really good. So I don't want to sell this runic potion. I have 6 things to sell. I have Philosopher's Stone. I discovered a synergy, and just like that, you're out of here. We could get max HP, but seek some knowledge. And got 2, so we got the minimum. That's okay. 10 regen looks pretty good here, though. Let's take that, and that'll bump our soul ring up. Okay, we see the Oasis Guardian, who also has a femur. But I think I am going to fight the Oasis Guardian. They have this Waters of Infinity. You have 10 regen for each non-weapon item you have. That's pretty good. They have a gold nightshade as well, so that could be good. In the Roaming Isle, they have this skill short up when you heal, charge a shield item. We don't have any shield items. Yeah. Could get these bronze skills. Let's fight the Oasis Guardian. There's also, a world where maybe we fight Pharaoh's Khan, just so that we could try and get the triple damage on our restorative goop flail. That probably was even better. But that's also a diamond tier skill. We'd have not all guaranteed to get it, I just guess is what I'm trying to say. And there's a lot of good pickups from the Oasis Guardian for us. Let's see what they have for us here. They give us the skill. Very cool. So we just got plus 50 regen. That means our soul ring is doing 93 poison. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Let's look at some max skills. The first 5 times you slow each fight, charge 1 regen item for 1 second. Well, I guess I don't know if that counts as soul ring. I mean, it's highlighted, so I assume it is saying that the soul ring could be charged. I think that'd be pretty good. Let's do that. And then if we, for some reason, wanted to take the soul ring off the board, we know it would... Oh wait, I think it's regeneration specifically, not heal. So this soul ring is going to get the charge. Okay, that's good. I am going to go here to Mandala, and I am going to transform this so that I can get a little bit more gold. So got a nice 10 gold here. And let's keep going to Fins, I think. Regeneration is very good for us. Let's fight this mech. Just 2 mechs talking to themselves is what it is. Okay. So they also have that skill that we just picked up, and they have the femur. No, okay. Haste potion, femur. We do have way more regeneration than them, though. So, but this thing is just going off like crazy. Okay, it seems to have maybe stopped a bit. No, Jesus. Okay. Well, there's the power of the femur. Also, the femur is charging itself, which is pretty strong. So what were they doing? They were... First 10 times use a slow Each fight charge your regen items. Charge 1 regeneration item, so really it was only their incense. Why was it going off so much? Let me replay that. I want to see what procs this thing. Okay, so there's one charge. There's another charge. Oh, wow. Okay, I get it now. The smelling salts in the energy potion. That makes a lot of sense. So the energy potion goes off. It is hasting all these things, which smelling salt sees at separate iterations. And what we saw was the internal cooldown being capped, so it wasn't, if you are unaware, there's like an internal cooldown cap in the game, which means that an item can't do a thing above a certain speed. So as we saw there, the femur was just the highest speed it could be charged, essentially. So it was just going off all those times as it was counting every item that got hasted. And with the smelling salt synergy, okay, that's pretty strong. I think I would have maybe placed the items a little differently on their board, but they did beat me, so what do I know? Okay. Well, as we said, max are strong. Let's go to Kina and look at some non-weapon items. Does death caps do anything? Not really. There are now some crazy things that we could do with a soul ring. Wish when we used myrrh and transformed it, it would transform into something that's guaranteed to have regen, not healing. We don't want these, I don't think. And yeah, I'm gonna go to Pearl's dig site. Let's see what we got. Okay, atomic clock. I don't think that's what we want. Dark water anglerfish, no. Fiber optics and use less most item, charge your rightmost item. Okay. What would we be taking off the board for that? We're also not like... we don't have anything that's going off a ton to charge our Goop Flail. That being said, our Goop Flail could charge our Nightshade. Maybe that's big game. So every time the Goop Flail goes off, we get another Nightshade. Yeah, I'm going to try that. And Master Alchemist, I think, has good things for us. When you use a tool, reload adjacent items. They have Mortar and Pestle, which could be pretty nice. Do we have a tool? We have no tools. Fiber optics is tech and it's not being used. Okay. Trash Titan also has a skill that charges large items when we use small items, which is probably our biggest find. And I do want to try out the fiber optics. So I think I'm going to do something like this. This doesn't... hasting this for one is not that powerful. But as we talked about, that is a pretty nice synergy. Can you do something like this? This might be okay. It's facilitating our Nightshade to go off more. That is good. Yeah, let's try it for this fight. Let's just see what it looks like. So we're trying to really have our fiber optics do some good things for us. Yeah, use your leftmost item, charge your rightmost item. Okay. Okay. That certainly doesn't look bad. Being said, it's not very powerful. That's okay. Maybe better than what we were doing before, but it doesn't seem too good. We got Hemlock. Alright. Let's take gold tier loot. Oh wow, okay. Upgrade hammer. What is a soul ring? look like upgraded? That is plus 20 regen, and I realize we cannot do that anyway, so Goop Flail, it's going to be lower cooldown. It's pretty good. Probably going to do that. Don't need to do that just yet. Mandala. Could transform our Hemlock to something. I don't love that. And I wonder if it's even makes sense to just transform this Goop Flail into something else restorative with Mandala, but I'm gonna go to Barkin, I think. Try and add more power to our board. Weaselpede is pretty cool. When your enemy has poison, this is +1 multicast. We're not really synergizing with that though. Thronet, this seems good for us. This is +1 multicast for each weapon or friend your enemy has. Okay. That's a tough one. It'd be a kind of a gamble. We don't know that it's gonna work. Let's use this, sell this, sell this, sell this. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna reroll as well. And recycling bin is fine, but not incredible. Okay. Could fight a monster here. Let's fight a monster. Void Colossus. I believe Void Colossus has no weapons or friends. Sucks to be them, I suppose. They have no weapons or friends. Okay. Well, you know, the throwing net's not going to do much for us. But well, let's fight him regardless. And I could see playing Eye of the Colossus, finding a way to put that on our board. Don't think we have a good way of utilizing that right now, but it's certainly not a bad thing. And putting a decent amount of poison on them. They're really starting to stack up the burn. It's okay. We put a lot of poison on them. Eye of the Colossus. We have done it. Racing the Vanessa. Vanessa's a pretty guaranteed to have a weapon or a friend. Just looking at this Eye of the Colossus. Can you use an adjacent item? So the Goop Flail could charge it. Yeah, I don't know that we have exactly what we need for that right now. I'm also thinking about how we most appropriately utilize these things. Maybe something like this makes sense. Maybe it's time to ditch the soul ring, but 96 poison is so much. That being said, I mean, could do something like this. That could be pretty strong. Yeah. I think I want to try this. Let's see what this fight looks like.
I seek the ultimate secret. Will you get me any closer?
Go ahead. Underestimate me.
Okay, they have a submarine, heavy submersible, toxic shadow cloak, yikes, and then a torpedo. So this throw net's gonna proc 5 times. That seems pretty good. Okay, so we've started our poisoning. They have a lot of poison. This torpedo is the scariest thing that they have, and it has no crit chance, and we defeat them. Cool. So let me just check our board real quick. So we did 196 poison with the soul ring. Goop Flail did 360. The throw net was obviously very strong. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 weapons. Yeah. Was one of these a friend somehow? I don't think so. Cool. Well, that worked out well for us. We can upgrade an item.
Sister's laughter.
This, we could add 10 regen on. Could put even more hasting. I'll look at a gold tier skill here, I think. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, if you have exactly one weapon, its cooldown is reduced by 10% while your enemy is slowed. Yeah, that seems strong. Let's take that, and then we can take this knife off the board. Okay. Now we could put 30 more poison on our Goop Flail. I will do that. Pretty nice. And sharpening stone, also diamond sharpening stone, so that's 60 poison. Very good. Very, very good. And let's see here. So there's a world where maybe we want to put this Eye of the Colossus on board, or the Nightshade back on board. But I like where we're going so far. Trash Titan hulking experiment. I think fighting the Trash Titan continues to make the most sense. They have no friends. They do have at least one weapon. Well, they have a weapon and a friend. Okay. So I can keep this throne net. Let's fight the Trash Titan. And yeah, the skill is what we want. It continues to be what we want. I feel like we have not gotten it in a while, so let's hope we can get it here. And yeah, well, our Goop Flail's doing 210 poison. That feels pretty good. Even more than that. Alright, do we get the skill? We do not. We get the Junkyard Lance. 100 damage for each small item you have. Well, it is certainly worth something. And you know, I want to see if this works. So the Eye of the Colossus here, we can go to Mandala and then transform your leftmost large item into another item of the same size and tier. I guess there is no other item in the game that is legendary and large. Okay. Well, at least we tried. Anyway, let's gain some regeneration. And we have another fight here. We don't need to make any space. And it's another Vanessa, so I feel pretty confident here having the throne net on board that is the correct thing to have. Again, I do wonder if Eye of the Colossus makes sense, because our Eye of the Colossus, we could put it in a place where fiber optics is going to work well with it, which means like this. And then this would be charged. Am I willing to risk it on this unknown fight is really the question. I kind of want to just try this when we're facing like a monster just to see how effective it is. Well, I guess we can kind of do some numbers here. Let's say the throw net and they have like 3 or 4 things as like +3 multicast. So that's just going to say that the restorative flail is going off every 5.5 seconds. And then so every 5.5 seconds, it's going to charge this 3. And that's also going to charge it another 3 because that's how this item works. That's not how the item works. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Well, we figured that out in the nick of time. So maybe it's something like that, but then this isn't going off. Yeah, okay. Let's continue to do what we were doing. And let's go into this fight.
In 100 years when you are dust, I will remain.
Okay, so they have shielded that ladle. Yikes. Okay, and a really big Langshan. We do have +8 on the throne net, so our restorative goop flail is going to be certainly hasted. But yeah, they're doing a lot more damage than we're doing. Okay. Yeah, our build is not super strong right now, as we can see. And let's look at some enchantments. Oh, fire. Fire sounds way better. What's throw net? Enchantments. Fiery, burn 3. Yeah, not that great. Turbo could be kind of cool. It's fiber optics, interesting. No, I think I am just going to replace the restorative with fiery. That's going to represent a lot of damage. And let's look at some diamond skills. First 10 times you slow each fight, charge one burn item. That is perfect. Okay. Could gain some more regen here. Let's transform this junkyard lance. Let's see what we get. Plague Glaive. Your poison items have plus 15 poison. For every 20 poison on the enemy, this has plus 1 multicast. What the hell? And it has lifesteal. Okay. I think that's good. We'll see. We'll see. I do dare to risk some coin here. And no district like the Awakened one. Notably, they only have one weapon, so our thrown net's not going to be doing as much here, but it is going to charge our Goop Flail. What the heck? Okay. That seems good. That's gotta be good, right? That's gotta be good. Alright, Nightshade, I think we found something a little better to do. Gold tier loot. Let's see what we got. Okay, take some cinders. Man. That... I'm even thinking that we do this. No, that won't work how I want it to work. So it has to be like that. But I do want the fiery goop flail to go off as much as possible. That being said, yeah, there's no way to facilitate this in the way that I want, I don't think. So what we could do instead is, no, this is our best slow thing. So this is going to slow. And when we slow, we charge this. So we kind of have to assume that our throw net's going to be good. And then this will work exactly how I want it to work. Yeah, okay. We don't have to worry about that just yet. We'll see who we're fighting. Okay, so we know we want to keep these items on board. Let's just gain a little bit more damage here. It's going to work well with our Goop Flail. Also realizing that our left-handed was facilitating a lot of this, so things to consider. But this having multicast is going to be very strong. I think it probably is still... let's not worry about it yet. We'll fix this. What do we want to do from here? So 150 max HP doesn't matter nearly as much at this point in the game. I think I want an upgrade to my board in the Fiery Goop Flail and the Throne Net, so let's see if JJ has either of those. It's highly unlikely. And, you know, there's a mirror here that could become another Throne Net, but then we'd have to take the Smelling Salts off board. Not loving that. Staff of the Moose. First time you fall below half health each fight, you take no damage for 1 second, gain 25 regen. Your weapons have +2 damage equal to your regen. That's also crazy. So, because we would add 154 damage to the Goop Flail which would make the Plague Glaive go crazy. We have to get these items off. That's the biggest thing. At this stage of the game, that's not a guarantee. I'm wondering even if the Staff of the Moose is somehow better than the Plague Glaive. But I don't think so. Yeah, I'm going to roll past it. I think something very tempting there. Okay, is it a Vanessa? It's a Mac. That's really disappointing. Mac is not going to have a lot of weapons or friends, more than likely. So I don't think that this thrown net is going to be very good. I think we may just want to risk it. There's even a world we put the Eye of the Colossus on board. But yeah, I think our hope here is that this Mac that we are facing has at least one weapon. And thus our thrown net will have at least +2 multicast so that we can charge our Goop Flail a little bit. It's going to be risky. Again, really the best play is if we had this going. The problem with this is that the Goop Flail is not going to be going off before the Plague Glaive. Oh, that's not necessarily true now that I think about it. So this is going to go off. So we're immediately at the start of the fight going to slow, which is going to proc the haste. So this Plague Glaive is going to be -3 seconds. So let's say that's 7 seconds. This Fire Goop Glaive is at 11. 1 slow represents 1 charge. So then I'll put this at 10. And then when this goes off, they'd be going off maybe like the same time. But that's not what we want. If it was a Vanessa, I think I could reverse the item order. But just because I don't think the thrown net is going to be going off very much, I think that we continue to do this. Alright, let's fight the Mac. Let's see what they got.
Why must we do this? Death laughs at us both.
Looks like they may have one weapon. They have one weapon. They have a Plague Glaive. Shielded at that too. They have a haste potion. Okay, well, we've started our Plague Glaive. They've started their Plague Glaive. Wow, okay, we get there. Let me recap that. And replay that fight. I was so lost in the sauce of trying to figure out what the heck was even happening. Let's replay that. So they have a shielded Plague Glaive, and they were just not doing as much poison damage as us. So we put 345 on there, and then ours goes off. And then theirs goes off. But we now have more poison. Okay, actually it just came down to cooldowns. So actually really what it came down was we were putting 787 burn on them was the thing. So that was interesting. I'm glad it was this fight because I'll be honest, normally a Mac on day 12, like they would have a much more powerful board than this, I would assume. Nothing against our opponent, it's just where they were at. I don't consider the board that we had to be incredibly powerful, but it did get us 10 wins. And, oh wait, no, we have one more win. Oh god, no. We have to survive another day. Okay, that's okay. Here, I think I'll go the gumballs, and let's start introducing some crit chance to our board. Again, there's a world for these things. Don't think we're going to need that one. Let's start introducing some more crit chance here. We don't gain any crit. Could have saved those yellow shield gumballs as well, but it's okay. And could get a temporary boost. I think I like that. So we're doing more damage there. And Lord Arkin has some weapons, so this will work. That being said, I think Boss Harrow might have more of what we're looking for. So Boss Harrow has crit chance, has plus damage, and it has this assault focus skill. So yeah, there's a lot of value to be gained there. Let's go to Boss Harrow. So really here again, one of these 3 skills is what we want. more than anything. We'll see if we get them. That's interesting. I guess this Jitte was being charged off for smelling salts. Oh no, it's a throwing net, right? Okay, we get a bayonet. Yikes! All right, and let's look at some upgrades here. So, items, roll net. Slows for 3 seconds. Flail, a slower cooldown. Right. I'm kind of in the market for just having this go off as soon as possible. That charges our build. So let's do that. That 1 second may genuinely make or break the next fight, so worthwhile doing. And now Mandala. Do we want to change anything? You know, again, the smelling salts is... I wonder if we try and facilitate, like, something that can maybe be heavy here. Because maybe the haste is not worth as much as it was before, but I don't know that that's the case. I'll just take the 5 gold if we get, like, a Pearl's Dig site, which we do not. We could look to see if we could get an upgrade here. That's fine. Let's look at that. Laboratory. Enchanted. Non-enchanted item for the fight. Charge your relics. 1 second. Blade Glaive is a relic, but we're not adding that to the board. And neither are we adding these items. Okay. Let's see who we're fighting. Another Mac. Unfortunately, again, I don't see us really getting a lot of casts off this net. That being said, would I want to replace the sleeping potion and the soul ring on board? I don't think so. I think we fight him and we hold our breath a little bit. They are level 15. See what happens here. Okay, they have a couple weapons, so that might be good or bad for us. Okay, so they're going to be having very high amounts of damage when this moose goes off. So we're going to have to heal past it. Through the Memento Mori. Okay. Oof. Wow, that was... They didn't put up any fight, really. Their items just had too long of a cooldown. Their restorative Staff of the Moose didn't even go off. Neither did their Ritual Dagger or their Vitality Potion. So we just get there. And I think, you know, the Viper Cane went off. If the Ritual Dagger went off, that would have been lights out for us, I think. But we hit him before it went. And again, that turns out that 1 second literally made all the difference on the cooldown for the Fiery Goop Flail. Wow. And that is the Bazaar, folks. That's just how it goes. 10 wins, day 13. We have done it on Mac. I think this is... I forget if I have gotten a 10 win on Mac before. I think I have. Regardless, this is not the build that I thought we'd get it. But what a wild ride. We ended up transforming that large diamond tier item into a Plague Glaive, which turned out to synergize perfectly with our Goop Flail. Like, without this Plague Glaive, I don't think we were getting across the finish line. Getting to this 10 wins was not on my bingo board for this, but additionally, Fiber Optics was synergizing well with that. Got the Plague Glaive to go off. It basically turned our slowing synergy and our smelling salts and our slow burn into 2 instances of that. Just because we figured out a way to charge the other item with a slow burn. So that's awesome. And we got 3 chests here. I think I am going to subscribe to the Bazaar. I know I haven't been a fan of that in the past, just in terms of subscription model, but I've had thoughts recently. I put out a video recently where I was talking about how I wasn't a fan of everything in the monetization system. And oh, okay, Mystic Legend Mac, we could get that. I wasn't a fan of everything in the new monetization system, but I did think it was a great improvement. But honestly, now that I'm looking at it and like I'm actually playing these games, I think it is just a tremendous improvement from where it was before. The monetization system before you had to put a lot of money into, but I wasn't really wanting to do that. And now it's kind of like if you want to get access to the things, you pay for those things up front and you can get access, but you can do it entirely free to play, which is sort of more and more unheard of with these models here. So I do want to, support the developers and give back where I can. And I say give back, it's like I want to support them. I want this game to continue. As we saw, it's super fun and awesome. And what's more fun than awesome than opening 10 chests at one time? Let's reward ourselves. Some lumbors. Whoa, that's a really cool mat. I like that mat a lot. And we didn't get any rank tickets. And how many 35 gem things do we get? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got a little above average on the kickbacks, actually considerably above average on the kickbacks of gems. There's a 50% chance that your gems from a chest are going to be a 35 value. We can look at that actually right here. So if you didn't see where I clicked, it's this little eye for information. Gems, each chest guarantees 35 gems. So they all start at that base, and then half of them are likely to just give you 35, and then it scales up. You could get it at plus 15, 20, and so on. You could even get plus 10,000. Wow. I wonder, there's got to be like one person who's gotten that, right? Anyway, that has been another run of the Bazaar. Thank you for joining us here on Games to Sleep To. And if you aren't asleep right now, hey, that's okay. We have more videos for you to watch. We have more Mac gameplay. I've done a review of the patch notes for the latest patch, and I'll be trying to put out a video here pretty much 5 days a week. So lots of content to go through, and you can improve your game or improve your sleep. It's all improvement, all growth here on Games to Sleep To. And again, if you are asleep here, I wish you a good night.